All right, good evening, East Hampton Board of Education. You're live, we're being recorded, we're streaming to YouTube. You may begin.
Good? Okay. Can I have a motion to open?
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Second.
Second.
Here.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, please rise to the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. Let's turn the meeting over to the superintendent for a budget workshop.
Yes, thank you, JP. I know we have some special guests. The budget presentations will go very fast, and then we'll do the best part of the meeting. So, Ms. Smith?
Sure. Good evening, everybody. I am thrilled to present the projected budget for the high school. And I thought it was easiest to kind of put it into three main categories. That being continuing and updating programming, projected or anticipated changes with graduation measures and potential regulations. And then lastly, student experiences. So to kind of work through some of the major changes, we continue to expand and fund our science research program. This year, we have added New York State Science and Engineering Fair. We will continue with that. We have students participating in that as we speak. We have a separate budget line for science research. That's materials and supplies. $16,475 for that. That is on page 9. That is the same money that has always been used, but in a different budget line for independent science research. So that is for their individual projects, whatever they need to order, whatever supplies they need. That is there for them. We continue to support their experience. In field trips on page 6, you will see their budget for the World Food Prize. That is the Cornell trip that they will then, if they meet success at Cornell, they then qualify to go to Iowa. And last year we had 2 students make it to that round and that level. We anticipate the same, if not more, this year, which is super exciting. And as our students in science research continue to meet additional successes, we want to be ready to support them. And so I think it was Ina Garten's recent book where she said, be ready when opportunity happens. And opportunity continues to happen for our science research kids because of their hard work. And we want to be ready financially when it does. So that's all the ways that we are supporting them. Also, you'll see we continue to support our science research programs, and we have our CTE programs with our culinary and our automotive. You'll see a few additions on page 10 to our automotive program. We've noticed as we've gone through that program a couple of years now, things like lift training, updating the diagnostic machines, as well as the accounts that they need for Napa or Granger or Snap-on, whatever the case may be. We have added those to continue to support that program. They have requested a smoke machine, not to be confused with a fog machine. I learned the hard way. They are, as you all know, currently doing inspections on the high school staff's cars, which has been phenomenal for the students to get that real world perspective, for our teachers to have their students working on their cars. It takes the trust factor to a new level. But that machine would allow them to test for leaks in emission systems. So that would just allow them to do another level of the inspections, which would be great. That would be to the tune of $1,400. Another huge thing that we're excited about at the high school is a potential CTE program with medical assisting. We would love to, we have seen tremendous success in culinary and automotive. We would love to add a medical assisting program. As we are working right now, in fact, we had a site visit today with Southampton to see their program. If we worked with Southampton, our students would do that through Southampton Hospital. If we did that here or with our own program, we would do that in concert with the new emergency center. So depending on the exact logistics, the exact numbers, exactly what we're able to pull off for next year, we are committed to the program ultimately being here with us. Whether or not we're able to do that next year, or the following year, either way, we would like to run the program. So it may look like it might be in Southampton next year, or we might be able to swing it so it's right here. We're just working those out now. Either way, the infrastructure demands for that program are quite minimal, which is a great thing and kind of new for us, given our automotive and culinary programs. But I did reserve about $5,000 for materials and supplies or field trips or guest speakers for that program. All of that is right there on page 10, if you wanted to look further.
Is that classroom time and then rounds at the emergency room?
It's technically separate, but I think we all know that those work best when they're integrated.
Mhm.
And the students are actually doing it, at the hospital
Right.
or in our automotive center or in our kitchen. So while they can technically be separate, we're working very hard to make it so that if not full-time, it's at least part of the classroom time.
Okay.
So that will sort of depend. Southampton, the way they do it now is they're not full-time in the hospital, but they're across the street in that medical center.
Mhm.
But they walk right across to do their rounds, which is very so. And part of the draw of a BOCES program, you want the hands-on experience. So, which would be a beautiful relationship with our emergency center. So that's the ultimate vision. So exciting things. Another change there under programming would be a potential new AP course. If we are able to run our AP African American Studies program, we would need curriculum writing for that. So that would be an additional $2,700. You can see that on page 3. Again, with any new course, we do curriculum writing. So that would be a slight addition, but certainly a worthy one in my mind. For curriculum, we do have some significant curriculum shifts in living environment and earth and space science. Great shifts, necessary shifts in my mind. They are moving to less content heavy and more process and the true scientific method. With that shift, we are looking at 2 programs to support our teachers. One being Cognity, which is a curriculum that is in line with the NISLA standards we have to adhere to. And Inner Orbit is another program we are looking into. Both of those are on page 5. And those would support our teachers with those changes. And a shift of this nature, which is a big shift, a necessary shift in my professional opinion, but at first, our teachers are working very hard to adjust their instruction, adjust their pedagogy, even their day-to-day. And at first, we want to provide as many resources as necessary to support them in that. And then over time, those fall away as it becomes more second nature. So that would be the rationale behind those 2 increases there with Cognity and Inner Orbit. The next major change that you may see in my budget is around anticipated changing graduation measures and potential regulations. So as we know, you'll see these at the top of page 2 under high school supervision. We do have graduation requirements changing very soon. And as a result of the Blue Ribbon Commission and committee, students will have various pathways of meeting graduation requirements. For instance, They may be able to meet graduation through an internship or the various seals, the seal of biliteracy, the seal of civic readiness. We do not know exactly what this is going to look like in real time yet. So we want to be prepared if there's any additional staffing needs or if there are any additional data collection tools that we need to keep track of all of these different ways students can graduate. A very important thing for us to keep track of. So sort of a big ticket item there, but it is a very important thing that we don't know exactly what that is going to look like yet. So we want to be prepared for any needs that might bring. Lastly, along the same lines, but much less important, we don't know exactly where Governor Hochul is going to go with the proposed smartphone regulations. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. Some of our students might be able to weigh in on their opinions on that. But we want to be prepared in the event that we have to adjust our current policy. I say in the event, we don't know exactly. And while we would love to assume that any mandates by the state will be funded by the state, I think we've all been in this business long enough to know that's not exactly how it always goes. So that is a big ticket item there, but that's there just as we don't know exactly what that will look like.
We don't know when that decision's being made.
We
Right.
don't, and we don't know when we have the draft of what is proposed,
Right.
It's
but
been very quiet.
it's been very quiet. Yes, the draft came out and then it was not much. So we'll see where that goes and we'll continue, most importantly, to engage in that conversation with our community. So, so the last thing, perhaps the, most uplifting and fun part under student experiences, everything that rounds out the high school experience and, adds dynamic elements to the classroom, such as field trips or in-house experiences. At the risk of being redundant from year to year, I just want to remind you that for field trips, I always factor in a cushion because a lot of those trips depend on donations from our community. And we appreciate those funds. We could not be more grateful of the support, but we know how difficult it is for various organizations, the East Hampton Education Foundation, Kiwanis, Rotary, the list goes on. We know how difficult it is to raise that money. And we know that if they have an off year in fundraising, we don't want to have to sacrifice those experiences for our students. So a perfect example of that is our 9/11 trip. That is a pivotal experience for our students. It is a must-see for every generation, particularly as we get further and further from 9/11. And so with that trip has become more expensive, but we have budgeted for that because it's important that our students go and experience that. An additional trip that we have added to field trips is if we are able to run an AP art history course, they have proposed a trip to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, which I think would be money well spent to have a guided tour by Heather Evans through the Met is a once in a lifetime experience. So that would be an additional $3,500. Again, that would be if the course runs. And the last addition that you may see there under field trips, we ran a new course this year, Urban Studies, and with that course, they did take a great trip, and they took the train because they studied the subway systems, but they took a trip to the Tenement Museum and Ellis Island to study all of that and the birth of the city. So all really good things. So any increases are for student-centered activities or programming.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So we're just gonna pause the budget for a little bit. I just want to read a statement and then I'm gonna ask Kathy to come up for a second. On Monday, January 27th at approximately 8 p.m., one of our students at the high school experienced a medical emergency in our gymnasium. These three men sprung into action. One of those men who was Donnie McGovern, one of our coaches. I cannot stress the severity and complexity of the situation. Due to their incredible perseverance, training, and calmness, they were able to keep this student alive until EMS was able to take over. I could not be more proud of their response. No words can do this justice. They are simply heroes. Kathy, would you like to introduce who we're talking about?
Yes. First, I want to call up Yandel and his family. To echo what Adam said, we trained for this and we, in hopes that we never have to use it. But what these three men did that night goes beyond the pride and love that we have for what we do. And I can't be happier to see him standing here. I hug him every time I see him in the hallway. Try to be gentle, but it's just an amazing, amazing thing. Again, you never hope that it happens, but this is the best outcome that we could ever wish for. So at this time, I'd like to call up Coach Don McGovern. And two of our Pondview teams, Tom Lambert and Chris Schneider.
We made little things. I know, obviously, just little tokens of our esteem from us to you for doing what you guys did. I know that after this meeting, Jay and Pondview had taken everybody out, including all the kids, the whole soccer team. Jay, dinner is on Pondview. All right. I talked to Grace. She said, yeah, I don't know what to do for these guys, but whatever. This guy's unbelievable.
I have to honestly say, couldn't be prouder of the staff here, the security that we have. We've been through different forms of security over the years, and I have to say that this is the best time to know that we've had the right people in place. And thank you very much. And we're really proud of everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're excited on Dell's healthy, getting on the way, on the mend, and psyched to say, but I gotta make mention of the boys who were there that night, because without their help, going to get help, things wouldn't have happened as quickly as they happened to help Yandel. So round of applause to all the boys that were there. I think they appreciate Adam for letting us doing this now, because they want to go and play in the gym.
Much better there.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
You can all go now. You don't have to stay.
Yeah.
You can go right and play soccer.
Jimmy, how are you? Keep an eye on Schaefer. Keep an eye on Schaefer. I say, I want to make everybody get. Read more than one eye, so.
Dr. Soriano.
It's absolutely amazing. You train for it and have that.
You need everything.
Incredible.
So for middle school, the budget is pretty much the same. There's, you'll see on page 7, there's an increase of 9%, but that's largely due to lines that we've had before where we've had increase in prices over time. Those of you who've been on the board for a while know that the chairs always fluctuate, and now we're up to $4,150 for those. it's
Yeah.
hard to get around that. Costs
Yeah.
It is
are
what it is.
rising and it, as you say, it sort of is what it is. It's the same
And it looks
with the
great.
plaques that we
It
engrave
looks great.
in the office. I love them, and it turns out they haven't been charging us for years. And they turned around this year. I was explaining to Sam, and all of a sudden they tacked on $800, which is fair. And I think given the rising costs overall, companies have to make a profit. So now we're seeing that, and that is increased in this budget as well. And then the two other areas, we wanted a projector for scenery in the auditorium that we could also use during concerts, similar to the one that the high school has. And then the music program wants an alto sax for $1,700. So all of that brings us to a dollar change of a little over $10,000. But most of it is just price increases that we haven't realized over time. And those are the changes that I think are remarkable that you should know about.
They only needed one alto sax?
What, for
We're-
now.
Okay, because I remember years ago, so we're all caught up now.
Or maybe
I don't think we're all
These
caught up,
things
but I think we're doing it responsibly over time. So the
Okay.
request for this year is for one alto sax.
There's no request for a bassoon?
Not as of yet. That's an expensive instrument.
Sure
so-
is.
Someone playing the bassoon did?
No, but seriously,
Might be
Mark,
coming.
Someone coming up wanting to play.
we're in good shape in terms of musical instruments now, compared to previous years.
Right. As of now.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, good evening. The John Marshall building budget is also fairly similar to last year. The largest area sum is under teaching regular school at John Marshall, and you can see that's really inclusive of classroom supplies, including art, music, science supplies. And really a great deal of that is our classroom supplies. In an elementary building, there are quite a bit of different items that are ordered for the classrooms to run effectively. So you can see some broad categories listed there. I did mention last year we had an increase, which is staying the same for next school year in our field trip budget. We're thrilled with the partnership that we've further developed with the Historical Society and the field trips that are happening this year in first, second, and fourth grade primarily. So that is also in the budget again for next year. See if there's anything else I wanted to specifically point out. Think that there was. Is there any questions that I could answer?
I don't have any.
No.
I think
Yeah,
it's very
it's-
self-explanatory.
Yes.
And thank you. It's simple.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, so special education is based on last year's budget, as you all know, and then some costs go up, including some of BOCES tuition. And then we're trying to do some programming to keep students in district versus going out of district. Do you have any questions on specifics about the budget?
No, I don't have to.
Most of this is mandated, IT stuff, I know you guys worked hard.
It is good to note too that even with some of our enrollment numbers over time going down, the special education numbers have gone up. And the level of disability has increased. So we're seeing that as a trend.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that I work in the elementary and the pre-K and middle school, and I definitely see just from last year, even though I'm new, I'm only been here a year. Thank you. This is actually 1 year. Actually, thank you.
Thank you.
I should start with thank you, because you're all incredibly supportive of special needs students. So Adam and board, thank you. But yes, I definitely see the change, even though our enrollment overall is going down, the enrollment in, even pre-K and all the elementary school in special ed is increasing. So it is just keep that mindful, just be mindful of that. But otherwise, no, there's been no major change. So it seems That's fun.
That works.
Any questions? Great. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's okay that Carrie forgot me.
Can't get the
Don't forget this budget.
You get nothing. Okay, thanks, guys. As you can see, our equipment budget is down 45% from last year. Thank you so much for supporting the purchase of the 2 basketball hoops that we got for John Marshall last year. They're working out great. And you know, it's something that's gonna last us for years to come. We will be offsetting a couple different things. We need 2 new football sleds. If you've looked at the football sleds, I think they were there when John Ryan was playing football. So we need some new ones out there, and we also need new cargo net in the elementary school. That cargo net, we looked at that. It definitely needs to be replaced. Our athletic budget is modestly due to a couple of things. One, the addition of our JV flag football team. Currently within Suffolk County, we have 32 flag football teams. It's the most in New York State, and that's great. But in order to keep your flag football team, you kind of need a JV team to help support that. We currently have 25 girls that want to try out this year already, and we are still a week and a half away from tryouts. So that will add on. So this is definitely a time to come up for that. Also, NISA fees, Section 11 fees have increased a slight amount. That's due to offsetting the officials' fees. We've had some great success this year. With success, costs continued to be needed for safety needs, such as new football helmets and continued supplies for our student athletes, with proper equipment and supplies needed for them to have a safe and successful seasons. I'm very proud of the success our teams have had, from football making the playoffs for the first time in 11 years, wrestling having its first county champion since 1987. This young man finished second this weekend. Swimming having a New York State qualifier who will swim this weekend. Bowling win its first league match in 5 years, and countless other playoff teams. This year, I am proud to say, every single one of our winter teams were New York State Scholar athletes.
Great. That's amazing. Wonderful.
Any questions for me?
I have no questions,
He speaks.
but I do have.
Yeah, it's a comment, not a.
Because she's here. We got the word out. Started last Sunday with our junior lifeguard qualifying, and Kathy helped get the word out, and we had a great turnout. It's wonderful. Maybe reflect the fact that when you teach, you make people better, and that's a wonderful gift to give us. And I just appreciate just the whole idea of what we're all about here, and to any one of our programs, I believe that we're involved in, whether it's swimming or phys ed or pleasure, we are making better people, and that is a wonderful thing to be a teacher, and I appreciate all the effort that goes in, and it costs money.
Always.
Like everything.
Thank you. New schools?
Do you have to, does he have to open the meeting?
No.
We're good.
We're rolling.
We're rolling. Let's keep going.
Is there any news of
New schools, anybody have anything?
I just told you everything.
All right. Yeah, we're good.
Okay,
Fine with me.
go.
Public comment for agenda items. I believe there's anyone to make a comment. LTV, do you have anybody for a public comment?
No, we have no callers on the line.
Okay. Consent agenda. Can I have a motion to accept the consent
I'll
agenda?
make a motion. I'll second.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Superintendent's report and recommendations. So let's see here. I recommend that the board approve the non-instructional appointment of Christina Briley, the position of paraprofessional, for a leave replacement. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
So it's a leave.
So leave.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Now I'm not using this format. This is terrible.
I know, now
Now I'm not
it's
using this format. So, all right. So, number 2.
Yep.
Resolve that the board approve the following appointments to teach additional sections for instruction that's commenced February 3rd, 2025 through May 2nd, 2025, the 2024-25 school year, with compensation as follows, and it's all listed below. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
Second?
These are speech Yeah.
And it's contractual.
We didn't have anyone for a leave replacement, and we were able to, with the help of the special ed directors, find a way to balance the schedules, meeting, as they said, some of the needs of these kids that are needing it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 3. Recommend the board approve the following contract agreements. And they're listed 1 through 4. Can I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second? Second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing there, another piece, picking up another shared service with Bridgehampton School District with transportation. So again, it's been a pleasure to work with the neighboring districts. We're all working together to provide services to the kids out here.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Now, I got a question, Bridgehampton School District, they use Montauk bus, don't they? And we're gonna provide a service for them.
Yeah, so this is a route that we send up the island daily, so we're picking up, it's actually on the way for us, so we're picking up one of their kids. I think the cost would have been prohibited, but we're saving them a lot of money.
We're saving a considerable money. We're sending the bus anyway. We actually already have another Bridgehampton student who rides this bus.
Great.
We're going past this child's house. It's a win for us and a win for them.
Great, makes sense.
Perfect.
Great, makes sense, logical. Number 4. Recommend the board approve the annual meeting, budget vote and trustee election of the village, of East Hampton Union Free School District to be conducted on Tuesday, May 20th, 2025, from 1 to 8 p.m. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
It's late this year, isn't it?
It is a little late.
Yeah.
We wanted to keep Carrie here longer.
Keep looking. Number 5, recommend the board approve the personal appointments of the, for their services at the district annual budget vote and election to be held on May 20th, 2025. Can I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
Second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 6, recommend the board authorize the budgetary increase to code A5530 in the amount not to exceed $34,818 for the 2024-25 school year. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second. Ma'am, any?
Well, this is when we repair their buses. So, we have our agreement with Montauk and Springs. We do not just charge them and bill them, have them order the parts. We order the parts, we incur the costs, they pay us back.
Okay.
So this is just in the budget. We took the revenue solely from the parts and putting it back in the budget. It's
Okay.
not the labor charge, it's just the part.
And now that we're doing more, we need more in that line. So it makes
We're
sense.
doing a lot.
Yeah, but looks of it, we are. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 7. Recommended that the board approve the school districts participating in the Eastern Suffolk BOCES Joint Municipal Building Bidding Program for the 2025-26 school year. Can I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, number 8. It's recommended that the board approve the State Environmental Quality Review Act notice determination of non-significance for the East Hampton High School Science Lab with greenhouse addition. Can I have a motion?
Make a motion. Second.
Second? Discussion?
We're getting ready for, obviously.
Yep.
You'll see that
Great.
in the next two.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 9, recommend the board approve the State Environmental Quality Review Act notice of determination of non-significance for the John M. Marshall Elementary School playground. Can I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
In discussion?
Yep, same.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 10, recommend the board approve the following additional proposals to be placed on the ballot for the 2025-26 school year annual district meeting and election to be held on Tuesday, May 20th, 2025. Have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
Second. Discussion?
These are the propositions. We've talked about this when Sarah and Karen presented for the We have the budgets where the community will vote. Again, no tax increase. We are pulling in for 2 of them from the capital reserve. We are also, because our capital reserve and repair reserve have capped out, we have to ask the voters for permission to extend and expand them for the amount of money we put back into them. So we're due for that too. So these are the 4, these will all be on the ballot.
That's great, and they've been very successful.
Yeah.
So I hope we can do that again.
Yeah.
It's made budgeting.
Definitely smooth
Yeah.
out the budget.
Will it be four separate items?
Yes, it's gonna be 4 separate items. When we get closer, we will go over it again because, I think Sam and I really want to harp on the value of not only the 2 capital reserve projects, but the capital reserve itself and the repair reserve and how key and important they are to our district. We have examples of what happens when you don't have these things. And we've done a very good job of not having to have major bond projects, because we've continually repaired and updated our facilities and our transportation.
It's so much smoother than like in my first years before we had this. It was up and down constantly. Things weren't being repaired. We kept kicking the can down the road.
Yep.
You
It allows
know.
us to do a lot.
Yeah, so this, I think this has been really changing.
And I just also want to put that real quick, both the new repair reserve, the new capital reserve, if they're approved, are going to be funded through excess fund balance, but also through whatever is remaining in the previous funds. And for the repair reserve, we have 2 very tiny reserve funds. We don't use them. They're too small to be useful. And so we're going to liquidate those, the voters approve this, and put them in the repair reserves.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So we're on to old business, which we have nothing, and new business, which we have nothing. Does, Adam, do you have anything? Nothing?
No, we're just in budget season.
Yes, we are.
And I want to thank all the administrators. The administrators put a lot of time and effort into the budget. I think you're only seeing a small snippet of the amount of work to back and forth with myself, the business office, Tim's office, in putting together a budget we feel continues to benefit the children of East Hampton and the East End.
Great. Okay, public comment. Anybody have a public comment? LTV, any public comment?
We have no callers on the line.
Okay. Motion to adjourn.
All right, move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Right.